Thank you for staying with us. Despite hiccups from different quarters within and outside the All Progressive Congress, APC, the Caretaker and Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee, led by Governor Mai Mala Buni, continues to get goodwill and validation. The Federal High Court, sitting in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, has struck out a suit challenging the competence of the Governor Buni-Led Committee. The ruling delivered by Justice Fobe Ayua corroborates a Supreme Court judgment which validates the committee. Meanwhile, the National Secretary of the Caretaker Committee, Senator John Akpando Idoe, said the Governor Buni-led leadership of the party has the power of both the National Executive Committee, NEC, and the National Working Committee, NWC, of the APC. Babajide, with all this legitimacy quest and everything, it's obvious that, look, this convention planning committee, they're not ready to leave in a hurry. Because I thought, the initial thing I thought, convention planning committee, in 6 months, plan the convention, make sure you get a new NWC and do everything, and you leave the stage. But the way it's turning out to, after the exits of Adams Oshomole, it's not looking as if the Governor Buni committee is planning to leave in a hurry.
This, we can't even be talking about hurry now, when they've been there since 2020. What we can be saying is that even after all these months, it still seems like they are not prepared to leave. Matter of hurry is not there now because we've been there since 2020. We all anticipated that to be just 6 months.
6 months.
But you know, they've gone on and on and on and on. And yes, in fairness to the slim man from Yobe State, he's done a lot of good things. He's made the party stronger in terms of heavyweights. You cannot argue that he has not brought in more heavyweights than he inherited. You know, and when you bring in governors from states, as we have seen with what happened in Edo State, an incumbent governor, his value for money any day in an election, at least in our kind of democracy, in our kind of electoral environment.
Yes.
An incumbent governor.
Anytime.
If you say an incumbent governor win an election, you are bang on the money. So he has done very well in terms of bringing those people in and making the party stronger. Yes, they still have a lot to do in terms of resolving disputes in the party. It is those disputes that is making some people within the party to say, look, we can't go into this convention. If we go into this convention without resolving some disputes, the party will break up. This is the way people who are supporting Mai Mala Buni, this is the way they are thinking. One, they like Mai Mala Buni so much that they don't want the party to break up on his head after all the efforts that he had made. So for them, it is better Mai Mala Buni continues rather than having a convention. Now, the president has already, the party has already announced that it will have a convention. So what happens? Will the convention merely be an avenue to ratify the people who are doing the job now? That is also a possibility. I'm not a politician, and I'm not, I don't have a crystal ball.
Somehow, I don't believe that convention will take place.
Well, they are not the only one. There are many people who still think that, look, the way it's going, the fact that we can't see any sign, the fact that
the subcommittees,
the issue of conflict within the party,
very important.
As I've analyzed, even within the various subgroups in the party, the various sub-tendencies within the party, there's disagreement. And I give the example, even CPC. You will expect CPC is the most indivisible unit within the party. But there are old CPC members, even among the president's close aides and supporters, who right now are not on the same page. Some of them inside his cabinet, we are not on the same page. Whether it is Adamo or with Darazo that we are talking about, there are CPC members within the administration who are not even on the same page. So, and there are different, issues like that across the states. Some of them dating back to like 2015. Now, Malabuni set up a committee to resolve these things, and they promised they will do something, but we don't know how far they've gone. But we can see that in some states the committee didn't achieve anything. Some of the active players in the crisis even stayed away.
Like states.
Like when they went to Kwara, did you see the Minister of Information? Can you resolve the Kwara dispute without Lai Mohammed? So these are the issues. And someone like Malabuni, his biggest supporters are worried that if they go into the convention in this way, except there is an agreement to allow for consensus and other arrangement, and in that case, I'm not even surprised that the same people who opposed direct primaries, they've gone as far as goading the Senate to insert consensus into the whole arrangement. Now they are pushing that, okay, let the Senate and the House of Reps harmonize so that consensus can come in. When consensus comes in, you and I know that many times what they actually call consensus is just a division a decision that a few power people took, and they force it down the throats of other people. So if they are able to do that, when they get to convention and they say, okay, all these positions, after all, you saw PDP did it now. And these two parties have a way of copying one another. Even in removing their chairman, national chairman, they copied one another. PDP did giraffe method, copied the method that was used to chase Oshomale. So this is the thing. We still don't know the shape that convention will take.
A lot of people will say that, look, morally, that if Mayor Balawuni knows that he wants to be the chairman of APC, would have just stood for election. He used to be the secretary, but this is a sitting governor of Yobe State. I don't understand how the people of Yobe State, how they will be enjoying him, and at the same time is giving the fantastic services Jide has spoken about to the All Progressive Congress.
There's no doubt that he is there to define the interest of certain people in APC. And I think his choice was deliberate. Based on his political background, people felt this is the right person that can actually define the interest of our own caucus. And I personally believe that the delay in the convention is deliberate. If they had held the convention maybe last year and there had been crisis, it would have been easier for people to go and maybe form a third force and all that. But less than 1 year to the presidential election, even if there is post-convention crisis, it will be very difficult for a new force to emerge to contend, with the powers that be. So I think it is deliberate. But either they like it or not, that convention must hold at one point or the other. And like Babagide said, this issue of consensus, it could be a decision by a few people. And we just say, we have a consensus candidate. I think from what we are seeing, it shows that the APC, beginning from June 25, 2020, when this committee came, has not been able to resolve the internal contradictions within the party. It also shows that there is a likelihood that there will be post-convention crisis. It's almost certain. No matter whoever emerges as the chairman of the party. And it also shows that the convention is likely to determine the pendulum of the presidential election. Whoever emerges, the trend, that emerges will determine. But I'm not so certain that it will lead to a major upheaval in the party. Because are they going to join PDP few months to the presidential election? Are they going to form a new party? Where is it time to start creating structures all over the country? And of course, when you look at the APC, it's negotiating from a position of strength. So more people will still like to remain when you talk in terms of sharing of positions. So, but I also think the president needs to assert himself. He needs to provide that moral leadership, either by calling the factions together. I don't think it should be an intractable problem that cannot be resolved. But for the fact that up till now, we are seeing, there have been so many court cases, one in Port Harcourt, one in Delta, one in Abuja, So it shows that there is a big problem within the party, and I just hope the convention will be an opportunity for them to resolve it, even though it doesn't look so.
One thing Malabuni has going for him, is his colleagues that are with him.
So many of them. There are governors that you see
and
today.
Those governors are very powerful.
The governors you see today, some of them will appear like they defend social conscience at all times, that this is where they stand. But it's a lie. When push comes to shove, they see Mai Mala as one of them. They feel more comfortable with him than with people that they don't know already. And as I've said in one of our previous episodes, some of the people wanting to become chairmen now are from the National Assembly. These governors have not forgiven National Assembly members for the way they pushed aggressively for direct primaries. They believe that it was targeted at governors. No doubt about it, governors pushed them to do what they did. Because we all saw that during the congresses and all that the lawmakers were marginalized. So they were just fighting for their political future. Now, the fear is that the crisis that could happen from a rancorous convention could lead to defections into the PDP. It's too late in the day to start forming another party. We saw PDP members like Otom, like Bagudu of Kebbi, join APC as late as December 2014. Just a few months to the election. In fact, their own primaries, some of them lost out in their primaries. The next day, they joined the PDP. So history has a way of repeating itself. And when you cast your mind back to what happened pre-2019 election, the crisis in some states caused the APC to lose those states. Talking about Bauchi, talking about Adamawa, even Oyo.
Taraba.
Even Oyo. No, they couldn't have won Taraba.
No, sorry. What's this state? Zamfara.
Yes, Zamfara. Yes, So now, that kind of thing, that was even long after convention. So if they go into the convention with the crisis still very much there, their own fear is that it could lead to the implosion of the party. Remember when I interviewed our friend, the senator from Abia?
Okay. Senator
Baribe. He said, wait until they do their convention. I said, what will happen at that? He said, they wait until they do their convention. Everyone appears to have this belief that convention will make or mar the PDP, the APC. People like Wike too have been talking about the same thing, that let them do their convention. So this is a way of sending signals to the people running the party that is there something that these people see?
It seems the president has left the party to, as in, he trusts me by Malabuni to handle the party in total. It's not playing any, he's not interfering in anything.
No, they come to him from time to time they can't take big decisions without him. Governors decided that they wanted this tenure extended. They went to the president and then they announced that Malabuni and co can continue. So from time to time they go to the president. Malabuni will go to the president and say, Mr. President, I just got a new catch. I've just signed a new player, and that player is that man with the funny pattern on his head from Cross River. When will you be ready to receive our new signing? and then he will bring the new signing. Resplendent in his oglopotic and all those funny grammar that he throws around. On another occasion, he will come and tell the president, I have just poached a Chelsea player. In any case, I want Chelsea players poached. I've just poached a Chelsea player. And he is the governor of Ebonyi State. Mr. President, when do you want to receive him? When he's done that, he will still come back to the president and say, Mr. President, that man who used to run his mouth abusing you, I've just poached him
to keep him quiet,
so that he can leave you alone, so that you can have your peace.
And he has kept quiet.
And he will say, who is that man? Is it Femi Fadika? You will say, yes, sir. That's the new catch.
So since that time, Fadika
he has buttoned up his mouth. In fact, when he talks now, he's attacked. He will say the enemies of Nigeria, they don't want peace in Zamfara. They don't want peace. People will just be looking at him. Just like my younger brother, Ayeko Tor said, he said, you know that he was very famous on Twitter. If he lies against the president, people will go there to click like everybody. Those people will be happy, the Twitteratists. He said, we know that even if he does not have electoral value, the nuisance that he constitutes by abusing the president, at least we know that that one will end, because the president's aides put together, they cannot tackle him.
They can't stand him.
Given the followership that he has. So I looked at him, I said, this boy, this Yakindele man, he actually sat down with an old man and they taught him wisdom. Because sometimes when he says those things, I will say,
because
I will see value.
If you want to look at it, you now say, what's the essence of Vanika in your party?
No,
he doesn't have electoral value. He's from Ife. He's from Osun State. He can never win his local government. Now I'm saying,
he has explained it. You see, sometimes I share. I will just call him and say, see what is going on, and we will share ideas. Yeah, I feel like now I've seen the reason why he joined. That nuisance value has been totally obliterated, to the joy of people who will have been responding to him. There's nothing to respond to.
Let's see, Charles is calling us from Lagos. Thank you for joining us, Charles.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, what I want to say in regards to APC and their politics. I know the major problem of APC is Mr. President and his own type of politicking. Like Mr. Ayinde said, the Zamfara, the Rivers State and the other states that were lost during the last election, it was out of his own nonchalant attitude. If we had been Obasanjo, then he would have called all the people, called them just to bring them inside the room. They would just share there, they would just say, well, go and settle. It's done. I don't think there's any actor in any state that the president can call and say, see them together, and tell them what that they will not listen to him.
Thank you, Charles.
For me,
You know, just briefly, now the main kernel of this case is that the judge, knowing that people like Malabuni, the likes of the governor of the like of the governor of Osun, who are there, you can't sue them.
Yeah.
They have immunity. That's why he's saying that they are not. What's the language I used again? That they use one.
They are not justicious.
That they are not justicious. So it means that you can't sue them. If Supreme Court adopts that position, because as it is now, as long as it is not challenged, it is seen as something regular in law. They remain valid. If the Supreme Court adopts the same position, won't the governor say now that they've said that these guys are not illegal, instead of going into a convention with all the risk, why don't we just leave him like that?
Untouchable.
Yeah.
You know? Maybe it could well be that the thing will end up at Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court says these guys are justicious. That means Malabuni is home and dry.